Second, that we approve this 2016 annual Priest Lake Spring Festival Parade in Cooley. Any discussion at all? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you very much. Now the next item here is what you all, or most of you came for. It has to do with a discussion decision regarding Clagstone Conservation Easement Letter. Let me just reiterate, this is not a public hearing, which I wish we had had maybe a couple of months ago, where we get testimony from everybody in a public forum, and then the commissioners can make a decision from that. This is a regular business meeting, and we are going to offer public comment. And so all of you that have an opinion will be able to give us a brief opinion. I think once we get into that portion, we'll probably limit it to maybe 1 minute or so per person. Depending, we'll be a little bit lax on it. But we could be here a long time if we debate the issue. The issue on the agenda is a letter. It's not, the agenda item isn't whether we support or not support the overall item of the Clagstone easement. Hopefully, at some later date, we'll be able to take that up. But this morning, the decision on that is not on the agenda and won't be addressed. So anyway, if I can have a motion on this, we can then discuss it.
Mr. Chairman, based on the information before us, I move to declare the March 11, 2016 opinion letter regarding the Clagstone Conservation Easement void pursuant to Idaho Code 74-208, subparagraph 7, subparagraph B.
I second the motion. Well, it's been moved and second to approve making this letter void as stated in the motion. Now we'll have discussion, and Mr. Bailey, I'll turn to you first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This issue came to light several weeks ago as I received, and I'm assuming the other commissioners received also, a email from Senator Sean Keogh, Vice Chair of the Senate JFAC Committee, asking my position on the conservation easement in Clagstone, the Clagstone Conservation Easement. And I looked at it. I am not aware of the Clagstone Conservation Easement. I was aware that there was proposed development there. The last action that I had to research back in September of 2014, the county commissioners were asked to approve a continuation or an extension of the Clagstone Meadows large-scale planned unit development. And we did grant that extension at the time until November 19th of 2016. So that was where I thought it was. I was not aware of the Clagstone Conservation Easement. So we had looked into this, and I started researching it, and at that point I could not in good conscience give the legislature, Senator Keogh, either a positive or a negative opinion on this easement. I found out a little more. It will offer our sportsmen the opportunity to hunt and fish on some 9,000 plus acres. And I know the area because I hunt Long Mountain and Huckleberry Mountain, and I looked down on this area and I said, man, that would be a nice place to go hunt and fish. But I knew it was private property. The Stimson Timber Company owned it. So at first blush, you bet. As a member of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, as a lifetime member of the National Rifle Association, hunter-fisher, I was very favorable of that aspect of this. Also, as I learned, it would allow the Stimson Timber Company to be able to manage their forest and keep it pristine and a healthy, active forest by managing it. And it would add a timber resource, employment, all good things. But I still had not seen the agreement. And I know that there's usually several sections to it as far as public access, what rights are granted, what the conditions are. There's a lot of aspects that I was not familiar with. We started requesting these things, and it took some time to get the documents. We have received most of them. We're still lacking one document that has not been finalized at this time. I would still like to see that. Now, everything that I have reviewed, everything I've looked at, looks positive. It looks good. So I could give it a conditional approval, but I cannot legitimately say that I've had an opportunity to review it and say, this is a good thing for the residents of Bonner County. So lacking that, well, and I've learned a whole lot more since we put this letter out last Tuesday, Commissioner Sudik and I, we discussed it. What are we going to tell our legislators and those who are interested? And so we put down the facts. We do not know this, 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 and this. And we want to find out those things before we can give you an opinion. At this point in time, we cannot recommend it. And that was my position. Since then, the public has educated me a whole lot on their position, their thoughts, and they have a lot of valid information and excellent recommendations. I have heard a few concerns. It is taking 12,000 acres out of public ownership, the potential of development. And that has its good aspects. For county, we get more houses, more people, more taxes coming in to help with our fire districts, with our ambulance districts, with our law enforcement, and those things. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is, well, this is some very beautiful land and riparian areas and wetlands that need to be managed and protected and properly cared for, and it would be in perpetuity. We'd have that timber access. So you can see there's a lot of things for me wearing a county commissioner hat to take into consideration that otherwise wearing my hunter hat, I'm all for it. Wearing my public industry and jobs hat, I'm all for it. We need the timber industry to support our sawmills, our log haulers, our lumberjacks, you bet. These are all positives. I haven't seen very many negatives at this point, but I'll turn the time over now to Mr. Sudik.
I appreciate Commissioner Kelly's, Glen's comments. The point I would make on this thing is it's a steamroll a little bit, because IDL, Fish and Game, U.S. Forest Service, the hunting organizations, Idaho Conservation League, and the Native Plant Society were all contacted on this and coordinated with. In paragraph 1.3 of the deed, it requires that all the agencies involved coordinate with the county. That did not happen, period. And on a standalone argument, you know, I agree with a lot of things that Commissioner Bailey had put forth, but on a standalone argument, I do not like the fact that the county was not coordinated with. And that's huge. I hear a lot of things from constituents out there that have to do with either the federal government or the state running roughshod over the county. And to me, this was another example of it. All I've heard from IDL, Fish and Game, Forest Service, is apologies. We thought you knew. Well, we didn't know. All we knew about, as Commissioner Bailey said, was we knew that there was a development there. We have a letter from 2014 alluding to an extension there, and that was it. So from the standpoint of the lack of coordination, I'm really disappointed in that. And at this point, we do not have all the data, and we do not have a final document. It's almost like a famous congresswoman that you know that said, you got to pass it to read it. In fact, it is currently right now a draft document. So there is some baseline data we don't have. We haven't had a chance to have a hearing on it. We haven't had a chance to run it by our Natural Resource Committee for review, our assessor to see what the consequences for taxes long-term are, and our planning department to see how it relates to our comp plan. So I can't support this at this time. I am, like Commissioner Bailey, a hunter. I'm a life member of the NRA. I'm all those things that say I use the resources of Bonner County. And there's 63% of Bonner County that are currently set aside for hunting and for hiking and those uses that we equate with outdoor activities. That's 1,078 square miles of Bonner County is set aside. So we do have resources out there. This is a huge area. We want to see what the impact is as an additional area set aside. And I think the county needs the opportunity to fully vet this. And we have not had that opportunity, and I would like to have the county have that opportunity. So that's my comment. And the reason, by the way, that we're making, the motion was made was there was some question raised as to whether or not that we violated Idaho public meeting law by both signing this document. So to remove that concern, we are rescinding the letter so that there is no question that we have complied.
Thank you. The only thing I'd like to add is the first time I heard about this project was mid-February when it became an item down at the legislature, and I have an email down here that I wrote on the 26th of February. It says, basically, this proposal sounds good on paper, but I do not have the time or the information at this time to make an accurate evaluation. No one has sought the county's opinion on this matter before now, so I am uneasy to give you any recommendations. So that was my initial comment. It pretty much stands today for the reasons that the other two commissioners have stated, and I think Mr. Sudi put it very well on why this is on the agenda. They wrote this letter giving their opinion, and so that would not, since two commissioners are a majority, and it was not done at a public meeting, the fact that you could look at it as more of an opinion than there when they did not favor something. You can say, well, that's opinion in itself. So to be cautious on the meeting law and avoid any criticism, we put it on the agenda today, the same letter, and the motion you heard was to void that letter. So that's what's up right now. Now, after we get through that,